Welcome back, everybody. We're here to pull cards for January the 17th. I am going to be pulling one card for overall energy, and after that, we'll pull one card for each sign, and we'll look at how those energies blend together or meld together to give us the message for the day for each sign. I feel like we've got a lot of energy shifting and moving around today because I'm not done shuffling yet. That just means Sacred Spirit's having a hard time prioritizing. What do we want to talk about today? All right, let's go. We've got what showing up for our overall energy. Ace of Swords showing up in reverse. And I think you'll be able to see that card better here in a minute. Yeah, probably more as we get more of these down. So let's see. Ace of Swords in reverse. What's that talk about? It talks about this idea of having, of passing along, actually, good information to somebody in your sphere of influence. So this could talk about teaching your little one how to tie their shoe, or holding a class or a seminar and teaching people, conducting an orientation at work, but passing along good information to someone in your sphere of influence is the bottom line here. Let's see how that plays out when we look at the coordinating energies for each sign. Yep, now we can see that card much better. All right, so Aries, 9 of Swords showing up for you. Aries, I think you are telling somebody in your sphere of influence, you're talking to them about the idea of stress, whether you're talking to them about the idea of your own stress or of their stress. But I do think you're giving them some good information. So I'm going to guess that you're probably helping them to give them some advice about how to overcome their own stress is the direction that I would tend to lean whenever I see, well, the direction I'm leaning right now when I see these. I think you're helping somebody else to deal with some stress today. Taurus. 3 of Swords. Yes. Okay, Taurus. I do think you're passing along some good information to somebody who is feeling really heartbroken or sad right now. So helping them to overcome that. A lot of times when we're passing along good information in situations like this, it's because we have kind of learned from our own experiences. So this is hard-earned information that we're passing along to help somebody else today. Next up, we're looking at Gemini. Sun card. Geminis, I just think that you are passing along to somebody else some kind of encouragement or something to uplift them and to help them to continue to move forward or to begin to move forward one way or the other. Next up, we're looking at Cancers. All right, so Cancers, what do we have here? Cancers, it looks to me like you're passing along some kind of information to somebody who is not being very much appreciated for what they're doing. So you're passing along some ideas or information to them that will help them to deal with this situation. Let's see what comes up for Leos. Hermit card. Boop-ba-doo-doo-doo, boop-ba-da-doo-doo, boop-ba-da-doo. Leos, I'm going to say that what you're doing here is you are advising somebody that maybe it's a good time to sort of step away from people for a little bit and give themselves a chance to think things over and figure out what their priorities actually are before they're out here interacting in the world, creating chain reactions, and they're not even sure what they want to create. So you're encouraging somebody to sort of figure out self and then take some actions once they know what direction they want to go and what their priorities are. Next up, we're looking at Leo. That was Virgo, or that was Leo. So now this is Virgo. So Virgos, woo, you got a heavy hitter here, guys. Death card showing up. Now, y'all know, if you've been watching me a little while, Death card is not something I would ever name a card if I was doing my own deck. It would be transformation, possibly transmutation, because that's all it really talks about. It talks about major changes. So, what's going on here, Virgos? Virgos, I'm going to tell you, I think what's happening here is that you are making some major changes to your life, possibly to your environment or to a work situation. And I think you're just keeping somebody up to date here. I think you're just informing them about those major changes with that Ace of Swords in reverse for the overall. Just passing along that information. By the way, you might need to know, I'm not going to be working second shift anymore. I'm going to be working first shift. You know, I don't know if that's the change you're making or not, but I'm just giving an example of, you're just letting somebody know there's a major change happening and you're passing along that information. Okay, so that was Virgo. We're looking at Libra next. Six of Swords showing up for Libra. Libras, I think you have a friend who is kind of embroiled in some kind of drama or chaos. And I think you're basically trying to advise them to step away. Step away from the drama and chaos. Step into the peace. Step into the peace. That's what you're advising here today. It's interesting. This card makes me think of, in my first marriage, I was with this guy who had a heart attack. And he was an over-the-road truck driver, and I went with him quite a lot of the time. And so he had a heart attack while he was out on the road. I happened to be with him. And after he recovered, he went back out on the road again. And we would always talk about like different foods and different moods. And we would joke, but not joke, talking about, in the interstate, there are loops that go around the cities. And so, there's the loop around St. Louis or the loop around Kansas City or the loop around wherever. Some cities that are bigger have multiple loops. But anyway, we would always, when we were considering like what we were going to eat and the moods that he was feeling and different things like that, we would have this kind of code of, are you on the loop to Heart Attack City? It was kind of the heads up of, hey, let's back down the stress. Let's try to figure out what we can do that would be better. This is the energy that this card is giving me. Like there's somebody that you're saying, hey, get off the loop, man. You're on this loop that keeps pulling you around and around and around this stressful, dramatic situation. It doesn't get better as long as you stay on the loop. You're basically telling somebody, hey, hit the exit ramp, get off the loop. That's what I really feel like with this. So let's see. What else are we looking at here? That would be Libra. Now we're looking at Scorpio. Scorpio, Seven of Wands showing up here. Scorpio, I think that we're advising somebody about how to stand their ground, how to set boundaries, how to look out for themselves when there's a zillion and one different things being fired at somebody that is requesting, demanding their attention. We're hoping to give them some advice about how to let that go. How to set some boundaries so it's not the most important thing and they still have time for themselves. Excuse me a moment. I apologize, guys. I got pulled away because of a phone call, but I think we got done talking about Scorpio before I got pulled away. So let's move on to Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, we do have the World card showing up for you, interacting with our overall of that Ace of Swords. This is telling me, I think you're talking to somebody about some type of goal that you have, something that you want to accomplish or something that you want to achieve, or you're talking to them about either identifying their goal that they want to accomplish, what they want to do, what their purpose is, and maybe even talking to them too about how they might want to go about achieving it as well. All right, next up, let's look at Capricorn. So Capricorn's Ace of Wands coming up in reverse. So this is really interesting, Capricorn, because this tells me that you're going to be passing along good advice to somebody else about how it's inspire other people, or how they can inspire other people should they choose to do so. Very interesting. Aquarius. Okay, Three of Cups coming up for Aquarius. I think you're just going to be talking to somebody about the idea of friendship and, different aspects about friendship. Like, what is good friendship? What does that look like? How do you recognize a good friend as opposed to a not so hot friend? Or how do you be a good friend? There's something here that you're sharing good information about friendship with someone in your sphere of influence. Next, Pisces. Page of Pentacles coming up in reverse. Boop-a-dee-doo-doo, boop-a-da-doo. Pisces, here's what I'm going to say. I think you are passing along information to somebody in your sphere of influence about finances, but it doesn't feel like it's about your finances when I'm feeling into this. I mean, yours might be included, but it feels bigger than this. It feels like you're talking more about big picture finances, like what's going on in your community or your neighborhood or your state or region or oblast or whatever. And so this is, I think you're going to be having a conversation where you're sharing information with somebody about, kind of big picture financial situations today. All right, so that was Pisces, right? Yes, okay. So I think we've got everybody. Thank you all so much for spending some of your precious time with me today. I do appreciate it. Looking forward to reading in person for some of you a little bit later on. Well, in person over the internet or over the phone anyway, but personally for some of you a little bit later. And the rest of you guys, I'll see you back on the next video. Thank you very much for being here and supporting me. Peace out.